Hey everybody, Steve at electricaltime.com. I am here with the one and only Della, Croce. So Vince was our presenter today at our IAEI Code Update Seminar for the 2020 and 2023 National Electrical Code, because New York is still on the 2017 NEC as of the end of 2025. And then in January of 2026, we then jump over to the 2023 National Electrical Code here in New York State. Vince, from the 2020 NEC and the 2023 NEC, the changes, what's a code topic that you would like to give some information to our viewers about?
Yeah, so we had a lot of changes between the two cycles. For our discussion, let's pick one. I'm going to drift to 210.8 for GFCI protection. A lot of expansion over those two cycles. So folks would really try to get your arms wrapped around what those changes were, right? We have the lead-in language in 210.8 that describes how we measure for GFCI protection when there's a measurement associated, very popular one, within 6 foot of a sink. How that gets measured, what you measure through, what you don't measure through, that's in play because that language changed. 210.8a, the dwelling unit receptacle requirements. When a receptacle is installed, those list items changed. So we have expansion, for example, indoor damp and wet locations. That was a big change. And folks drift to talking about, people may say, well, if we're indoors, how can we have an indoor damp or wet location at a dwelling unit? That's 210.8a is specific to dwelling units. Well, substantiation with that change was about mud rooms, which are very typical here up in the Northeast, and I know the Northwest section of the country. I'm in Florida. I'm not worried about a mudroom in the state of Florida, but I know those applications are present in other areas. So you could have an indoor damp location in a dwelling unit in a mudroom application, but they also added indoor wet location. So you'd say, well, what's an indoor wet location? And believe it or not, some of that substantiation for what people have in their homes, pet washing areas. Some folks have these areas where there's a drain in the floor, hot and cold water, specific to where they wash their pets. So that's an expansion in 210.8a. If there's receptacles in those vicinities, big change that folks would have to get their arms wrapped around. Kitchens, all receptacles basically in a kitchen in a dwelling would require GFCI protection. Previously, the language was specific to receptacles that serve the countertop, and that was kind of the driver. But now that serving the countertop language has been backed off, so basically it's all receptacles inside of a kitchen, even if they're wall mounted down next to a countertop. Those are in play for GFCI protection. And also, there used to be, and I think this was a 2020 language, those receptacles in the kitchen were 15 and 20 amp driven, only when they were 15 and 20 amp. That language has disappeared. So there is no amperage threshold any longer. So big changes associated with a dwelling, and that amperage back off would capture something like a dryer receptacle in a laundry area would require GFCI protection. So a lot of movement there. If we drift to 210.8b for other than dwellings, we have some of those same requirements, indoor damp and wet locations. We also had expansion for permanently connected cooking equipment in a buffet serving area. So that was another one that people may say, well, what does that mean? Well, most restaurants, we're here at the hotel where we had lunch today. Sometimes there's permanently mounted buffet serving areas. If there's quad-and-plug connected equipment associated with those areas, that requires GFCI protection. Another one we got in 210.8b, other than dwellings, was aquarium and bait well applications. And I believe that's a new list item 12. So I would encourage folks to look there and see exactly what the language is. Paraphrasing, I think it's kind of if we have receptacles within 6 foot of these open aquatic vessels, aquariums, and bait wells, guess what? GFCI protection required there. I mean, we can keep on going. There's 210.8C, D, E, and I think we're all the way up to F. But if we want to limit it to A and B for now, when there's receptacles and quarter plug connections, big changes. So you really have to stay on top of it. Take a peek inside the two additions. That's what we did here today. 190 folks plus strong in the audience today. So it was really a good event. A lot of good discussion.
And this is one of the reasons, just one of the reasons that you should attend an IAEI code update seminar. There are so many things that we discussed in class today, and there was almost 200 people that were here today at the Hudson Adirondack chapter code update seminar. A lot of great questions. Vince was fantastic. So if you're in the Adirondack Hudson area of upstate New York, going to see this guy teaching. It's fantastic. All right. Go to IAEI.org and check out. There's chapters all over the country. Code update classes happening all over the time. It's a big honor for me to be part of the IAEI. Vince, thank you very much for an excellent presentation today, and everybody certainly got a great amount of information.
Yep, appreciate it, Steve. I always appreciate the invite back up to visit. And thanks to everybody out there. Keep an eye on Steve. He's a mover and shaker in the industry. He's doing a lot of good work.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.